This week, we've got brand new updates from LINKSWELL, MSC, KENWOOD, Boss Audio, and Memphis Audio. This is CMA Live, brought to you by SiriusXM and sponsored by 5 Access Innovations. And it starts now. All right, we shift now to another category within the 12-volt electronics, which is now cameras. Well, cameras, maybe not as exciting as some of the other categories, but certainly something that your customer is asking for, and in some cases are quite necessary. Well, KENWOOD seems to have a brand new solution for your camera needs. It's called the CMOS 240U. Let's go to Josh Bowen right now. Now, Josh, this is a brand new model being introduced into the KENWOOD lineup for cameras.
Yeah, so this is a camera that we've got that's going to start shipping here in a couple of months or so. But it's got a few things that are a little bit different than what customers have typically seen from us in our backup camera lineup. So I'm really excited to get into some of those details with you, Ben.
All right, Josh. Well, when it comes to cameras, there's really a couple of key features that we want to make sure we cover here. And I'd like to kind of go through them in an itemized kind of way. So let's start off with first the physicality of the camera. What does it look like? What is the shape? What are the installation possibilities when it comes to this new camera?
So that's actually one of the things that I'm most excited about. Now, any of our KENWOOD dealers out there that have been a dealer for some time know that the big request on our camera lines has been a license plate bracket. So I'll start off by letting everybody know, put your minds at ease, this new camera will have the bracket that you've all been asking for. But we didn't stop there, right? When we look at the physicality of this camera, it's kind of a unique design. The camera itself is actually circular, but the cool part is the actual camera comes in at less than 1 inch all the way around, whether it's width, height, or depth. The way that this is going to be set up to work is we'll supply 4 mounts in the box, and you get to choose how this camera is going to be mounted to whatever vehicle type it is that it's going to be installed on. So we'll have one bracket, which will be the license plate mount, the one that everyone's been asking for. Now, the second one will be this traditional square mount that we've had with our cameras, but this allows a little bit more versatility, say for vehicles outside of a traditional car, whether it's side-by-sides or other types. Now, the other 2 mounts are a little bit more unique. One of them is a rubber mount. This would be something that would be great for like under the left and right mirrors, because this camera will have the ability to mirror that image. So you can install this as a front camera, a back camera, or left and right for blind spot detection cameras as well, which is why we're calling this a universal style, because it can be used universally on various aspects of the vehicle. Now, the fourth and final mount is the metal mount that's going to be included in the box. So this would be for some of those more rough and rugged environments that the camera may be subjected to. To back that up, it'll also have an IP69 rated. So if we're using it in rain, mud, or other type conditions, this camera will be sure to stand through the test of time.
Well, certainly, Josh, dealers will be appreciative of the fact that, well, literally every scenario can be covered with all the different mounts and the license plate bracket that is now included with this new version. Let's switch to talking about the performance now. Has there been any improvements? What kind of performance can we expect from this new camera?
That's a great question, because at the end of the day, it boils down to how good is the camera, right? So this camera is going to be coming with 470,000 pixels on a 1/3 inch color CMOS sensor. So we're going to have some great resolution that's going to come from this system. But in addition to that, we've also improved the lux rating so that the camera works better in a low light environment. Now, I made mention to this earlier too, but when we're talking about the actual camera itself, it's important to note that there are 2 different connections that can be disabled. One of those would be to unplug a bullet style connector, which allows you to mirror that image. And the other one would be to unplug a bullet style that allows you to add those parking guidelines that some people may be looking forward to. So there's going to be a lot of attributes to this on the physical side, but also on the camera side itself.
All right, Josh, we know that we've got some great new advantages when it comes to installation options, improved performance, and that's great to hear. Any other features or maybe hidden Easter eggs that dealers might need to know about?
One thing I would like to point out is when we're looking at the actual installation of these cameras. So if you're using it for like the ledge on the back of an SUV, for example, to have something near that handle for the liftgate, these 2 rubber and metal mounts would be awesome. But also when we're looking at this to mount it like underneath a mirror, for example, on the outside of a vehicle, if you're doing that, that means that you have to get that cable through that door jamb in through that boot to get it inside of the cab. And this is something that we kept in mind with the connector of the camera itself. For example, you have about 1.5 feet of distance from the camera through, which allows you to get that into that interior cabin if you need it. But that connector was kept to a smaller size so that it's easier to get it through that grommet or those door jamb boots in those tighter applications. So we wanted to make sure that the installation wasn't something that had our dealers frustrated and angry by the time they were done with it. I'm happy to say that I think we did that here.
All right, once again, we're talking about a brand new upcoming rear view camera coming to you from KENWOOD. It's called the CMOS 240U. Josh, once again, tell the folks at home when this will be available and where they should go to get more info.
Absolutely. So we're expecting to see this camera around the April to May timeframe, somewhere within that vicinity. And if you're looking for more information on it, the first thing I always suggest is to reach out to your local rep. But outside of that, you can find anything and everything you'd like to find on our website, kenwood.com, which will have all of that information available for you here shortly.
Hi, Jody from 5 Access here. Just want to bring everybody up to speed with what we do and how we do it. We're a display company. We do a lot of custom graphics. Obviously, we do custom audio boards. We do RGB lighting. We do graphical work up top. We also do all the different custom amp mounts. So for all your store needs, we do front counters, we do home audio sections, we do lighting, everything that you're looking for, give us a call. Again, it's 5 Access, 414-326-7162.
As you know, it's spring of the year. We got customers that are itching to get some awesome sound into their vehicles. And what better way to upgrade than through a subwoofer enclosure? Now, there's so many options when it comes to subwoofer enclosures that are currently available. But today we're talking about Memphis Car Audio because these guys, let me tell you, they have an outstanding selection when it comes to loaded enclosures in every category, every fitment, and let me tell you, 6 different ranges that we're going to cover today. Let's get on their president, Mr. Nick Lamonaco. Now, Nick, I'm sure you can agree with me. Enclosures are hyper important for any dealer, but man, Memphis takes enclosures seriously.
Yeah, Ben, we definitely don't skip a beat with enclosures. Enclosures are super important because we want to get customers in and out from when they're coming to buy base, and so we try to do our best to provide the full gamut of enclosures for our customers to sell to those, anyone from a base head down to I just want to add a little bit of base to my stock system. So we definitely try to cover you from top to bottom, left to right, everywhere in between, with high quality Memphis product.
You know, Nick, one of the things that I find very interesting is back in the day, an enclosure was basically, a big old box, whether it was ported or band pass, for example. Yes, I'm aging myself a little bit. And size didn't matter and fitment didn't really matter. But these days, it seems like, the space that customers are willing to sacrifice to get base could range very dynamically. So let's go through the line. I think the way we're going to do this is kind of get from the high end stuff down to maybe a little bit more price conscious product. So let's start at the top. Let's talk about the VIV enclosures.
Yeah, our VIV enclosure is basically the best of the best. For those that don't know what our VIV sub is, that's our 14-inch, 7.5-inch voice coil sub. I'm not fluffing you when I say it plays flat from 20 to 500. So this is an SQ level woofer, but it's 14 inches and 2200 watts RMS. So it's also very capable of SPL as well. So this is a single 14 ported box that sounds incredible, that absolutely bangs. And then of course we had to make it look nice and sexy. It's got a very nice brushed vinyl front, really sets off the woofer in the box. And yeah, if you want incredibly clean and stupid loud bass, it's the perfect box for you.
All right, so if sound quality and crazy big bass is what you want, VIV is your go-to. Now, our next one is kind of subdivided into 2 different categories because the Mojo sub from Memphis is, of course, a fan favorite. Everybody we talk to, everywhere you go, Mojo and Memphis are kind of synonymous with one another. So let's divide that. We're first going to talk about the big Mojo subs, the bigger drivers. So let's get into the big Mojo enclosures.
Yeah, with our big Mojos, they're 12 and 15. These are 1500 watt big boy subs. They're not light. They're very heavy. They've got a giant motor on them. They've got a big aluminum bass to support that motor. So over the years, we've, as you mentioned, Mojo is synonymous with Memphis. It's been our big woofer in many iterations before now. But a lot of people, maybe they don't have the custom box building ability, and they were trying to throw these giant woofers into like everyday prefab boxes. And that was, number one, not good for the woofer, and number two, not good for the enclosure. And it would eventually just break the enclosure. So we got a big demand for being able to take our customers to be able to drop these giant badass loud subwoofers into cars, and that's what we brought out, our 12 and dual 15. So we got a single 12, which is dumb loud, just ported. It's got a beautiful black piano black finish on the front of both boxes, which matches the next category we'll talk about. But just designed exactly to the TS parameters of the woofers. So that single 12, that box is designed perfectly for the parameters, and the dual 15 also is designed perfectly for the parameters of the woofer. So that's a 1500 watt 12 or a 3000 watt dual 15 box. This is for SUVs or somebody with decent suspension. I've had one of these in my car, and the car drives different. They're so heavy, but you're definitely going to shake everyone around you.
So Nick, when it comes to these Mojo series subwoofers, I have to preface this by saying, do not let the size of the cone, deter you, because what we're going to talk about next is what I think to be the most popular form factor when it comes to the Mojo subs in the entire Memphis lineup, and that is, of course, the Mini Mojo. So, what is the selection when it comes to having enclosures with Mini Mojos loaded?
Yeah, Ben, you definitely nailed it. The Mojo Minis is by far our most popular size of the Mojo, and maybe overall in our woofer line. They've been crazy since we launched them a few years ago. In some cases, we've not been able to keep up with the demand, but the most well-known boxes that we have in the Mojo Minis is our dual 8-inch truck boxes. So these are vehicle specific for Ford, Chevy, and then old Dodge and new Dodge. And if you've not had the chance to hear one of these boxes, you're going to be blown away. You'd be blown away in general, but then you're blown away even more when you realize it's two 8-inch subs in there. So it's 1800 RMS ported boxes that just absolutely slam in the truck. Definitely our most popular SKUs. All of the models are in our top 20 most popular SKUs in our line. And then keeping with the awesome base in a small space, we have single and dual 8-inch, more traditional shaped enclosures with the piano black finish to match the big Mojo boxes. And then the most popular of our non-truck boxes in the Mojo Mini is our dual 6.5-inch down-firing wedge box. So this is a box that's capable of fitting behind a single cab truck, under bigger trucks. Also, it looks awesome behind the back seat of a 4-door Jeep. Kind of just disappears back there for perfect fit. I mean, this box comes with brackets. If you don't bolt this down, the box will be bouncing everywhere. It's crazy to think that two 6.5-inch subs is loud, but it really is. It's 1400 RMS and slams, and that's why we sell a ton of this very versatile box. And the Mojo Minis in general, they're just small, you get in the big base and much less space now.
Now, Nick, another series which has gained a lot of popularity, and mostly due to size constraints, is the new MB series. Lots of different models in this series that will help customers get the base they want, but still be able to go to Costco and fill up their trunk. So let's hear about the MB series of enclosures.
Yeah, the MB series, it's a great woofer of ours. It's got the selectable voice coil flex technology, 500 RMS 10 or 12, 350 RMS 8. And we have some traditional boxes in the single and dual 12 that are regular shaped, and if you want that big bass in your trunk. But yeah, as you mentioned, I call it the dad bass. So we have a single and dual 8-inch box down firing. Comes with rubber feet. So even though the enclosure comes with the grill, you can put the rubber feet on the front of the box and have it down fire it. So it sits and kind of disappears in the back of the trunk, and you don't have to worry about throwing stuff on top of it all around it. You're just hitting the box, not the speakers. And it puts out a lot of bass. We also have an amplified single 8 and an amplified single 10. And that single 10, again, that's the dad bass one, because in addition to having the down firing to put it in the trunk, and it's a shape to kind of hide in the back of the trunk, it's got a quick disconnect for the power and ground, like the removable power lug. So you can easily pull out the RCAs or high level, however you're running in for signal. And then you can go to Costco. You can go your big grocery runs or whatever you need. And that 10-inch has a built-in legit 500 RMS amp. So again, that's why I call it the dad bass box, because the guys that, like me, 40-year-olds that used to really have a big system back in the day, now can get bass again without sacrificing the trunk space for the kids.
All right, Nick, let's keep the flow going because we still have two different series of enclosures to go over. The next one is pretty iconic because, well, first of all, the looks, everybody has seen these. These have been around. They've got an incredible amount of pedigree, and rightfully so. You know, if you have a customer that's coming in that doesn't necessarily want entry level, wants that one level up to get that extra kick, but not break the bank at the same time, I think it's hard to argue that the PR series of subwoofer enclosures is probably the most popular option. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Definitely not wrong there, Ben. PR in our subs, amplifiers, and speakers is our most popular line. Part of that has to do with the fact that they've been in our line the longest, but they have the iconic M logo, black on black on the cone, and they're just very recognizable. When you see a PR woofer, there's no mistaking that it's a Memphis woofer. And then you nailed it. This is for somebody that used to be a bass head or somebody that is just getting into adding bass in their trunk. But these are everyday price points that can still, you know, make your rearview mirror rattle. So we got everything from dual 10, single 12, dual 12. And again, all of our enclosures are designed to the exact parameters of the woofers. So if you were to call and build a custom box, call our tech support line, they would give you the same exact dimensions to maximize the output of the woofers that we have. And in the PR line, in addition to the traditional shaped boxes, we do also have some shallow options. We have a single and dual 10 under seat shallow option for under truck seats, or again, in trunks, similar to the MB that we talked about. And then we have an amplified wedge box. So if you want to get a single 12 behind a truck seat, or in the third row of an SUV or something, but you don't want to take up a lot of space and you don't want to add that extra amplifier, we got the built-in amplifier there. So some versatile enclosures, but again, it's going to be good bass and definitely not going to break the bank.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, of course, we have to think about the budget-minded customer, or maybe the newcomer to car audio, maybe a young customer that's coming into your shop that might have a little bit of a tighter budget. Don't worry, like I said in the top of the show, Memphis has got you covered from top to bottom. We're talking about the SR line, very popular line for what I just explained, but definitely some great options when it comes to enclosures as well.
Yeah, Ben, the SR line, that's been Memphis's entry to bass. So this has been an extremely popular line for a lot of the young kids who, you know, this probably is their first system, but a lot of guys aren't mad and they keep that system for a long time. So we're known for our single 12 and dual 12 bass packages. So the SRXE 112 VP and 212 VP. These are probably on their fourth generation in our line, and we keep improving them every time. So you get 250 watts amplifier, 250 watt amplifier with the single 12, and a 500 watt amplifier with the dual 12. And when I say 250 and 500 watts, those aren't inflated numbers. Those are RMS real power, the same amplifier that we sell a la carte if you were to buy an SR amplifier. So we get these bass packages and you put them in a car and you're going to be blown away for the price point, like what you're getting out of them. So even though it's our entry level price point, it's definitely not entry level for performance.
In closing, Nick, I want to kind of paraphrase what you just said there when you made reference to the amplifier performance. Well, another unique thing I want to point out about these Memphis enclosures, in fact, all the ones that we discussed on today's interview, is the fact that the drivers that are included in these enclosures are, in fact, the same spec drivers that you would buy a la carte. And that's something interesting to note because we all know that there are some options on the market whereby they make this special sub just for an enclosure. No, these are the actual drivers that you can get a la carte from the catalog.
Yeah, Ben, just like I mentioned, when you call in to build the box, we're going to give you a spec that's going to match that box. The reason that is because it is the same driver. It is the same parameters. We don't want to make a special woofer for a box to fake how it's sounding. We don't want you to build the box to our spec and then go, hey, how come this sounds different than the prefab box that I purchased from you guys? No, it's the same exact woofer. So if for some reason you put a drill through the surround and you got to swap it out, you could put the gift box woofer right in there, plug it up, and it'll sound exactly the same. We want consistency. We're not cheating you out of anything just because you bought it as an enclosure and not just the raw driver for itself. So very, very proud of that and very excited about all of our enclosures. And as you've heard from top to bottom, we have enclosures to fit virtually every need and every budget. So if you're not a Memphis dealer, or if you're hearing something today where you got to try with his enclosures, definitely go to memphiscaraudio.com and check them out.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability.
People love it.
Well, guess what, guys? Spring is in the air, and with that comes a couple of categories that certainly are more popular at this time of year. One of those is, of course, motorcycle audio. Today, we've got specialists from Boss Audio joining us because they've got an entire suite of motorcycle goodies that you need to know about. Let's go ahead to Boss Audio and connect with both Colin as well as Chris. Now, guys, motorcycle audio, as you know, is super hot. Colin, talk to us a little bit about this category for Boss Audio.
Yeah, Ben, it's time to dust off those motorcycles and get them on the road. Boss has been in the motorcycle audio business for quite a while now with more of the universal pieces, but now we do have vehicle-specific audio for Harleys.
All right, I'm excited to get into it. Now, you did mention some universal, so maybe we use that as a starting point. When it comes to universal options for motorcycles, because let's be honest, not everybody has a Harley, and of course we're going to get into the Harley goods. But when it comes to universal options, I understand there's a handlebar mount option that everybody should know about.
Yeah, Ben, we do have a universal option for any motorcycle. Really, it's a 3-inch speaker, as you see here, handlebar mounted for most motorcycles out on the road. These are fully Bluetooth IPX5 rated. And one good thing about this is you don't need a source unit. You don't need an amplifier. You plug this straight into your battery, hook them up to your handlebar, and it's ready to go. And let me tell you, these things scream. They're super loud, just like they have to be to cut through wind, cut through your helmet, cut through engine noise. We offer them in chrome, as you see here, also in a matte black and a black chrome, in two speaker versions or 4 versions. So you can have them up on the handlebars. I've seen them down on the trailing arms. I've seen them really low down. Wherever you have a bar on your motorcycle, these things can clamp on and you'll get audio just like you want.
And there you go, guys. If you're looking for a solution for a customer coming in with a bike that might not be a Harley Davidson, those handlebar mount pods look pretty slick. Now, another one that kind of gets a lot of questions and demand from customers is, how do I connect a camera, a backup camera, to my Harley? Chris, what kind of solutions does Boss offer when it comes to rear view cameras?
Absolutely, Ben. With more and more camera-capable units on the market for Harley-Davidson, we saw demand and increase for riders that are wanting to see behind them more easily, and we opted to come out with a license plate capable camera. So it mounts to the license plate, as you're familiar with, the smaller plate that's on a motorcycle. So direct fit for that type of application. Tuck the wire through the fender and up to the fairing, and you're good to go. Another thing I'll point out is for the customers that are in states that have a UTV side-by-side that's street legal, this is a good option for that as well, because those also use a motorcycle size plate.
All right, so we covered a little bit of universal applications, both in the pods for handlebars as well as a really nifty rear view camera option. Let's get into some application-specific stuff. Now, you said at the top of the interview here, Colin, a solution for upgrading the audio on motorcycles, more specifically Harley Davidson. So let's start from the front to back. What do we have as far as front speaker kits?
Right, Ben. This is the BHD3F front fairing kit for Harley Road, Street, and Electric Glide, 98 and up. So as you can see, there's 3 different grills here that work with the 3 different bikes. 6.5-inch speakers. Also comes with a 400-watt amplifier. All factory plug-and-play wiring, ready to go for those 3 bikes. So again, one kit for 3 bikes spanning over all those years. Can't go wrong.
First off, I got to make a comment here. That packaging looks super slick. So whoever's in charge of packaging there, boss, good job. Now, I love the fact that everything's on the box, so that's very visible. But while I have the R&D guy on, why don't you talk to us a little bit, Chris, about some of the cool features that this front kit has?
Definitely, Ben. And to follow up on what Colin was saying as far as the application, in one SKU, you have a full front speaker kit, amplifier, all the necessary wiring to integrate from 1998 up to 2023, which I get would be the cutoff for that generation bagger. So electric glide, street glide, road glide. You have a variety of grills that fit the 2014 to 2023 generation bike for your road glide and street glide, as well as the adapters that are required to fit a 6.5-inch speaker in the fairing for 98 to 13. That would still use the factory grill for those applications, but fortunately we have everything for what is required for the current generation motorcycle that you're seeing more of on the road. Everything integrates into the factory location, all the necessary brackets. Being that it's in one SKU, you have leftover parts, but we felt it was best that whereas there's essentially 4 different bike configurations with the variety that's out there on the road, we opted to just have it all in one. It simplifies things. You're not having to play a guessing game of what do I need on my shelf. You're taking up shelf space in your shop. That's obviously tied up money for what may or may not be a more common motorcycle in your area.
All right, very, very cool, guys. All in the box, including extra accessories. And I love what you said there, Chris, when it comes to inventory. That is just smart R&D, so good job on that. All right, so obviously we talked about the front speakers, but please tell me you also have a solution when it comes to the saddlebags in the rear.
So we have 2 product offerings for saddlebags, being that this is a vehicle-specific application. You have the 2 different style of bag lids. So you have your 98 to 13 generation, which would be our BHD 98, and jump up from 2014 to 2023, you have our BHD 14. Everything's in the box as far as your template that's required to mount to the saddlebag and get your cut clean and mount your 6x9. Everything's included to be plug and play with our BHD 3F. Whereas in some cases that, let's say someone has an existing audio system or amplifier and they're not utilizing our kit, you could simply either pin and terminate to the Molex connector that's included on our harness, or simply cut it off and wire it direct to your amp.
Well, I guess the question I have is now, from a consumer standpoint, do I need to buy these 2 kits separately? Do they work independently from one another? Or is this really designed to be able to upgrade at a later time?
Good question, Ben. Our rear bag kits actually integrate with the front kit. So a lot of people will think they just need the front kit, install that, and then realize, no, I need more music. So this kit will directly integrate in with the front kit, the BHD 3F, plug right into the amplifier, good to go.
All right, and last but not least, of course, we're talking to Boss Audio, so of course we got to get into some source units. Guys, what solutions do we have right now available for Harley-Davidson source unit applications?
So, Ben, for current offerings, we cover the 98 to 13 generation Harley-Davidson for electric glide, street glide, and road glide. Direct fit, OEM compatibility as far as the plug and play with the factory harnesses. This is the BEHD-IN 98. LCD screen, white display background, black text so it doesn't get washed out in the sun when you're riding. A couple things I'll point out to you. You'll notice the amber illumination on the controls to blend with the factory amber look of the gauges. Now, whereas obviously Harley's a world of customization, personalization, you could actually switch to a white LED with the push of a button, and that would obviously be a more neutral color, like let's say if you did with a red or a blue backlit gauge. So this same style chassis, ZAM coated, so you're not going to have any issues with corrosion, weatherproof front faceplate, and mounts right in the factory location. All standard wiring, has the rear output as well for you guys that are wanting to use let's say you're going to use the high level output for that source and do an amplifier. Everything's all direct connect. And from there, we have the next offering that will be coming out soon. Same platform as far as the 98 to 13 generation. And with this guy, it's actually, you have a standard. You'll see the family look between the two, but I'll point out that we have, if you'll notice, the UI with the different style screen there, and we have a day and a night mode between the two, and you have 3 levels of dimming. Obviously, that makes a difference depending on where you're riding. You know, it just could just be a bit much and hard on the eyes, so we try to, you know, being mindful of that. And being a rider myself, I'm familiar with, you know, how important that is. As far as the LED controls, same thing. You could switch between amber and the white LED. Between the two, you have a stainless chassis and the ZAM coated on the other, just to kind of set the hierarchy, the tone between the two. Even if you don't see it, you know it's there, and it just obviously gives it a more high-end look and feel. You have a 72 watt by 4 capable wattage, and that's at 2 ohm. And obviously, it's that being to, if you're not going with an upgraded speaker and an amplifier, that'll pair just fine with the factory speakers.
All right, Chris, thank you for all those details. I did have a question, however, when it comes to connectivity, what kind of options do these units offer?
Yeah, Ben, these guys are loaded with AM/FM tuner, fully Bluetooth from any smartphone, and a USB port. Most of the factory radios in this style don't come with a USB port, so that's to play and to charge as well. One thing, though, I would like to point out is both of these units are under the Boss Elite line. So compared to the other products that we saw, those were all just regular Boss. These are Boss Elite. So these are made for dealers, made for install shops. And again, we're really pushing that Boss Elite brand. And so you're going to be seeing a lot more different categories within the Boss Elite.
All right, guys, I want to thank both Colin and Chris for joining us today. Last question for you, Colin. With all the products that we discussed on this episode, what is the availability of said products, and where should dealers go to find out more info?
Yeah, Ben, everything that we saw here today is available, except for the last head unit, which should be coming out mid to late Q2. So it's pretty close. But for more information, you can always head over to bossaudio.com or reach out to your rep for more information.
CE Outlook is dedicated to keeping the car audio and electronics industry informed on the latest issues, trends, and product releases. New feature stories posted daily. Visit ceoutlook.com for the latest industry news. Did you know that statistically, the Jeep platform is one of the most sought after and highly modified vehicles in our market? Well, today we're going to turn to one of those specialists that have done amazing things with this platform. More specifically, we'll be talking about LINKSWELL, the guys that bring you those jumbo screens. But beyond just the size of the screen, there are so many aspects to these products that you need to know about. We go now to Mr. Jonathan Detlefson standing by. From what I see, a pretty unique environment. Now, Jonathan, Jeep, as you can agree with me, is certainly a platform that has taken off in recent years.
Yeah, you're not even wrong, Ben. So funny story, because I like to tell stories about my life. We've actually got a Jeep. We've had a Jeep, one of our company show cars for a while. And so I get the privilege of driving it at times. And I actually had my daughter in the car, and I told her about the cool Jeep wave, where if you see another Jeep, you do this, because that's what cool Jeep guys do. So yeah, the Jeep, it is like a cult. It's a cult following with Jeeps, and the Jeeps, there are so many things out there for Jeeps. And we figured we have so much tech that you could do so many cool things with, that the Jeep platform had to be one of those things where we were able to just introduce some really cool technology into these guys that are just mobbing out these Jeeps out in the dirt. And so that's what we did, man. We got our Jeep, we made it cool, and we put some cool tech in it.
All right, so John, one of the things I know for sure is, although the Jeep is a very popular platform, as we've identified, sometimes it doesn't come with the most up-to-date technology, like you mentioned. Like we've already had many different brands come on and talk about audio upgrades, but I think today we're going to focus on your specialty, which is the interface, the headquarters of where everything happens, and that is, of course, the dash. So if you don't mind, talk to us a little bit about the thought process when coming up and developing new product to replace the factory source unit with a LINKSWELL unit.
Yeah, so one thing that Jeep has done on their own is because of all of the CAN and data and information that Dodge uses inside of like their Rams and stuff, Jeep has kind of adopted that same kind of thing. Anybody that's a Jeep guy will let you know the amount of technology that is now in the new JL and JT. There is a lot of technology that's going on. In fact, this one's a manual, and it's almost impossible to stall because of the way the clutch works. You can literally let the clutch out slow enough and not stall. And all of that's due to all of the technology and the electronics inside this Jeep. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to come into this Jeep and do a couple things. One, for all of the guys that bought the Jeep with all those features, we wanted to retain all those features. And then we also wanted to do something where if there were certain features that we were able to just add in there, like some of them require hardware parts. Obviously, we can't add dual climate, but we can do other things like off-road pages and stuff like that, which we'll talk about. But we wanted to get into the Jeep market and make a radio that you lost absolutely nothing, and we only gave you benefits and more things to do onside the radio. So we did a lot of work, and I think we have a winner, if I'm honest. So we actually make 3 different radios for your Jeep JL or JT. What you see here in ours is our XL. This one's got a big old 15.6-inch screen. One of the most noticeable and coolest features about this is our on-screen knob here. This knob actually will run our volume, and then if I swipe here at the bottom, it becomes all of our climate controls because we actually take over. If you know anything about that Jeep dash, this is where your factory climate controls would be. But we have this big 15.6-inch, and then we've got a Generation 5 and a Generation 6. And those ones are actually designed to look a little different, though. It'll be a little 12-inch screen. It'll sit in there flush. But as you can see, we've made our dash is 100% fit and finish. It looks factory. We have the rubber bezels that go around so we can make sure that it hugs the dash nicely. All of our buttons, our hard buttons are good. They're all going to work off of factory stuff like that. Our install itself is plug and play. If you guys haven't seen any of our videos about our installation, all of the harnesses are plug and play. Our CAN bus is plug and play. And then we give things where you're going to be able to do all of your climate controls like right there on the touch screen. Seat heaters, seat coolers, if you have all of that stuff. All of it's interfaced and intertwined in our radio. All the firmware, everything. It's as simple as you going in there, pulling out the factory, pulling it all in. And I mean, I really think, I know this one's a big screen, right? Like 15-inch screen in the dash of your Jeep that's a big screen. But I could never go back. I'm telling you that right now. It's like when you get that push to start car and then you got to drive a car with a real key. You're like, how did I live life like this? That's kind of what happens when you get a big old T-style radio in your vehicle. Is you just can't go back. But you can see, man, it looks good. I think it fits in there nice. We do a lot of work for fit and finish because we want to look as factory as possible while giving you as many cool aftermarket features as we can. And here you go, T-Style XL in the dash. What do you think, man?
I mean, I gotta say, if I may interject here, Jonathan, you know, having seen these units up close, we've covered a few of them recently. We did a Tacoma with you, and I'll tell you, you know, if you haven't seen a LINKSWELL screen installed, never mind what the functionality is. You guys have done a really good job making sure it incorporates with the cosmetics of the interior of the vehicle that it's meant to be in. And I just want to remind our listeners, when Jonathan says it comes with everything, it literally comes with everything. If there's a certain texture or a material or a clip or whatever that you may need to let it integrate into that dash, it is included in the box. And as you can see, guys, here, I mean, it is incredibly visual. Like, there's nobody who would sit in this and not be blown away. So I'll let you continue with the features.
Cool, man. Yeah. And just a note to, like you said, screws and stuff. These screw holes actually are literally mounted. So if you are a Jeep guy and you're literally taking that Jeep off-road, you don't have to worry about it falling out of the dash because it actually bolts in there and cinches it down nice and tight. But let me give you a real quick overview. You can see that Jeep in that picture. That is our Jeep. So you want to have your own vehicle on the backside or the background of your dash. There you go. So that's actually our Jeep. After SEMA, we went and hung out with Nito. But you can see all of our cool things. So we can video stream. We could do Disney Plus, Paramount. We've got all of our audio. We've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We have our DVR. So we actually have a USB controlled DVR. You can see it's right here up on our windshield. So that's live recording, both audio and video. You can lock it up and all that stuff. Plugs in super simple. You can make your home page pretty much however you want it, just like your phone. You can add widgets, all those cool things. Bluetooth controlled stuff. Swipe up and you can find all of your apps. These are all the apps that we've downloaded on our stuff. Hit the home page, you're back to normal. Swipe it over. I'm telling you, if you know how to use a smartphone, you can use our radio. It's pretty much that simple. And that also means, because you can customize your phone and tablet so much, that means you can customize our radios just as much. So Ring app, like if you've got the Ring app, you can put the SIM card in this XL or Gen 6. And now if somebody rings my doorbell at home while I'm on the road, I can literally talk to them right there on the screen. And no, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not another radio out there that can do that. CarPlay can't do that. Nobody can do that. Only LINKSWELL can do that. But we're talking about today our factory interfacing. So I want to just real quick, maybe I could just walk you through a few of the cool features that we are specifically able to do on the Jeep. So we have this car settings here. So we go into the car settings. This right here is going to be every setting that comes on a factory Jeep radio. So whether you're doing safety and driving assistance, where you have like blind spot monitoring, backup sensors, hill start assist, all of the factory settings that would have been in your factory radio, we've got them for you right there. We got your doors and locks. So however you want your key to work, whether you want all the doors to unlock, everything. I'm telling you, if you haven't owned a Dodge or Jeep radio, the amount of control that you have inside your factory radio is a bit ridiculous. But because, like you mentioned, we do all of our R&D, we do all of our own firmware, we're able to retain every bit of that. So if you've got the Jeep with the factory auxiliary switches, we're going to give you the ability to control those, which means you're not losing those. You're not going to lose your factory auxiliary switches if you have them. You have the, if you take your doors off, you want to make sure that your radio shuts off with the doors. You can go in there and you can set it off, say, hey, I have the doors off, and the radio's not going to stay on. Your battery's not going to die. Easy exit seats, so the seats move when you want to get out. I'm telling you, all of your settings are right there. But what I want to show you is what I think is something that, besides the fact that we can retain all of these settings, there is a certain level of Jeep out there now, the 4xe. So anybody who's got a Jeep or a Gladiator that's got that 4xe, that's your hybrid version. There was a lot of work that went into being able to retain all of your hybrid settings. So really, I'm most excited to show you that. So let me show you. So I have 4xe turned on in our settings, which means that I have these two extra options up here on the page. You should see off-road and power flow. So let me walk you through two very specific Jeep settings and why they're super cool. Now, if you are a Jeep guy, you know you've got all the cool Jeep features. You got all of your off-road pages. Now, not every Jeep came with the off-road pages on the radio. In fact, our Jeep didn't come with the off-road pages on the radio. Our off-road pages are in the small little screen inside the cluster. Some of the higher end ones did have it on the screen. So if you are that guy, you get one of our T-style Gen 6s or XLs with our little off-road and hybrid adapter, you'll be able to retain all of that. Now, if you're like us and you didn't have those pages, but you want those pages, well, we can add those pages for you. And that's what I was talking about, us wanting to give you more than just retaining stuff. So all of your transfer case stuff, your rear lockers, all your information, your accessory gauges, you can figure out what's going on with your engine while you're going, your pitch and roll settings, your dashboard to watch your cluster and all that stuff. If you don't want to look at it in front of you, it's all right there. Start, stop, bypass, we can turn it on. Now, one thing about this one is once it's off, it's off. You don't have to keep going in and turning it off every time you restart. Some folks love that. I quite love it. That's one of my least favorite features of a car is start stop anymore. And then we have our hybrid settings. And I'm going to say this with about 99.9% confidence. We are the only aftermarket radio that allows you the max regeneration feature when it comes to the hybrid. As far as I know, everybody that I've talked to within the industry, this is a feature that is missing across the board, but not for us. So if you have that Jeep 4xe, whether it's a Gladiator or a JL, and you want to replace the radio, get something bigger, get something better, get all of the cool features like we have, because we are Android, we give you all the cool apps, and you want to be able to retain all your hybrid stuff, we are your answer. We are your answer to take your Jeep to that next level. You can sit there, you can watch all of your power flow settings. Yeah, so we are 100% about adding features and retaining features. And I'm really excited about the fact that we can do this in the Jeep world. I've wanted a Jeep since I was 13. So I have a bit of a love for the Jeep Nation. The Jeep Nation, I like that. Jeep Nation. I'm a Jeep Nation guy. And there you go. We're adding features for your Jeep. I don't know, Ben, what do you think?
So if you've been tuned in with us here at CMA Networks, and we've had Jonathan on many times, some of these features that Jonathan's gone through are pretty much standard with any LINKSWELL upgrade you're going to do to your vehicle. But I got to give it to you guys, give you the kudos where it's deserved. You've gone that extra level. You've done that extra programming. You are now offering above and beyond, you know, what anybody would expect. But what I love about this, Jonathan, is that one phrase that you said is that you are retaining all the great factory features and adding more. So on that note, let's talk a little bit about availability of this unit, as well as where people can go to get more information.
Yeah, man, for sure. So we actually have 3 options when it comes to the Jeep radio. We have a Generation 5, 6, and this XL that I showed you here. A couple things to know. Generation 5, the one thing about Generation 5 is you won't be able to retain the hybrid pages and off-road pages, but you will get SiriusXM. So if you don't care about hybrid and you don't care about off-road, but you do want SiriusXM, you want to go ahead and get that Generation 5. Now, if you jump to Generation 6 or this big XL here, get that hybrid module. They will be able to do all your off-road pages and your hybrid. We'll say this, the car settings, though, those don't require anything special. The only thing that module does is for the hybrid and off-road pages. The rest of the car settings will be across all 3 options. As far as when you want to get one, all 3 of these are available right now. You can order them right now. You can get it from your local distributor. If you're a dealer of ours, hit us up. We'll get you set up. If you don't know where to get it, if you don't know where your distributor is or who your distributor is, or you want to become a dealer, you want to check out our website, www.linkswellinc.com, and you can message us there. You can find out more information. We have a Become a Partner tab if you're interested in becoming a dealer. It's all right there. Bing, bang, boom, baby. Get yourself a nice T-style radio for your Jeep.
Mark your calendar. CMA Expo is returning in 2024 to the Toronto Congress Centre on April 5th, 6th, and 7th. A huge thank you to all the Canadian dealers who attended and made the inaugural event such an amazing success. You spoke and we listened. Thanks to your feedback, we've implemented some important changes to enhance your experience even further. Confirmed exhibitors for the 2024 CMA Expo are Alpine, Automobility, Importel, Trends Electronics, Gemsen Distribution, JVC KENWOOD, Sony, Pioneer, Dix Performance, SiriusXM, Ericsson Consumer, Metra, Stinger, Fortin. Save money and take advantage of the early bird registration. But hurry, early bird ends Monday, January 29th. For more information and the latest updates, follow us on social or visit cmaexpo.ca. All right, that's a wrap for this CMA Live All Access, brought to you by SiriusXM and sponsored by 5 Axis Innovations. Make sure to check out all our videos at cmanetworks.com. We'll see you next Saturday.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.